over 1,000 likes on Facebook, the Engage candidates are making themselves known on campus. Take a look at some of them here.
Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. You get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
And presidential candidate Christian Powers is taking a little time off the campaign trail to talk to us now. Christian, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much.
Saw that you have a love of pancakes. I have to say I agree with you there. So we have that policy point in common, I have to say.
There we go.
But basically, tell us why you wanted to run for SGA president.
Definitely.
When did you make this decision, and how did the campaign come together?
Yeah, well, just a little background about myself and when I wanted to run. Typically, I've known in the past that candidates decide in the summer of, and they get to work during Senate trying to get individuals to run. But this actually formulated back in the end of September and October. Grant Davis and I had never met other than Senate, and we just started kind of talking about who might, fulfill those, those shoes and bring that on. And I was very passionate being Senate chair this year and had a great opportunity seeing things pass through legislation as well as working with the current administration. So, we had this discussion and dialogue, and that's kind of how it started. And then eventually Laura Bergen came in the picture, and we've been there since. So, yeah.
Great. And so you mentioned that you have been serving as the Senate chair for SGA this year. How has that experience working with legislation and senators shaped how this campaign is going to work, and how you think your campaign can actually make SGA effective?
Definitely. One of the biggest things, in the last couple of years, and I'm grateful that all campaigns that have done this, is not just necessarily putting out policy points. With legislation comes research, and it's very critical that we pass legislation that's well researched and well thoughtful and relevant to the students versus just popping out a couple pieces of legislation about cheese in the cafeteria. But so what we wanted to do is make sure that all our executives, when we created our policy, were well researched and took time to invest time looking at student needs, going out, engaging students, and finding the issues on campus, so that when we wrote policy, it would be relevant to the students. Yeah.
So what do you think are the needs of the students? What policy points are you most looking forward to working with for SGA?
Definitely. Well, if for a background of Engage, what our campaign's all about is communication, collaboration, and credibility. And one of the biggest things that I want to bring to this university and bring to SGA this year is a sense of collaboration. In the past couple years that I've been here at UT, SGA's been in the limelight, but there's so many other leaders on campus that can fulfill the duties of representing the students. And what I want to do is sit down with all these leaders in a president's council, not a cabinet where we would be advised, but to sit down and have discussion and dialogue about the students' needs. So if there's an issue in BCC or SAA, that we can have these discussions, so when I speak with Chancellor Cheek and the provost, we can advocate for those things further. One other thing I'll tag on, and unfortunately Laura Bergen would love to say this, but I'll go ahead and speak for, is Smokey's Closet. Currently there's 57% of students on need-based scholarship at UT right now, and we're very focused and passionate about serving students in the best way, where whatever needs they need, especially finances, we want to advocate for those. And so what we want to do is collaborate with career services to bring something to campus where students can be professionally dressed up for their interviews or for job, just anything they need to be well dressed, something that they can have without having to go spend a couple $1,000s on.
Absolutely. You speak for her quite well, I might add. She'd be proud. She's watching this. So as you probably know, because you've seen SGA through the years, this is a really unique year for SGA campaigns and the election process. There are 3 parties. Not everyone's running with a student services director. What makes your campaign unique and stand
Definitely.
out from the typical norm that SGA campaigns have been in the past couple years?
Well, I'm very excited to talk about this. In the past, SGA is, when campaigns start, a lot of individuals are selected from freshman council and senate. This year, we stepped back from that, and we really wanted to focus on diversity. I think if you look amongst all three campaigns, I would be very, confident to say our campaign's probably the most diverse on campus. We looked at individuals that were RAs to look at the necessities of residence life. We looked at individuals in BCC, LGBTQA, the whole facet of campus we wanted to touch and reach out to, so we could hear those issues versus just coming up with policy points that we thought were applicable to students, but actually find the true needs of students. So I think that's one of the biggest things that we're really excited about with this campaign is being diverse. So.
Okay, and since it is a different, interesting election year, I have to pose a question. Yeah. Have you considered a split ticket happening with the election process, and have you guys talked about that possibility?
Well, I think, it's definitely been on our minds, and we've definitely had discussion about it. But, the way we're running our campaign, we're very confident that we're going to reach out to students in the best way. And I think, it goes a lot with what our name's about. We're not just reaching out to students or getting, the students riled up about something, but we're taking the time to invest in students. And I think when students see that the candidates are taking it to another level, not just standing back off the picture, but getting in the lives and building relationships with these students, I'm confident that everything is going to work out. So
great. And your running mates, Laura and Grant. Laura for VP and then Grant for Student Services Director. Tell our viewers a little bit about them and why they're qualified for these positions.
Definitely. Well, Laura Bergen is a business major. She's also in GLS, and Grant Davis is in biomedical engineer. Or excuse me, bioengineer. Excuse me, I always mess this up. He's in the College of Agriculture with bioengineer, whatever.
It's complicated. It's complicated.
But they're different parts of campus. They're wonderful people. I'm glad that the three of us have connected and collaborated. We're not the typical poli-sci majors who are politicians ready to run. We're spread at different types of campus, but they're great. Laura Bergen has been in freshman council, so as well as Senate, as well as a freshman council advisor. So she's seen the whole, the whole gamut of what her job would entail. And then Grant Davis, he's been in student services ever since he's been a freshman, and so currently he's an assistant student services. He understands the job position. So I could not ask for better candidates and more qualified candidates on this ticket. So.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like y'all make a great team together. Definitely. What are some upcoming events that maybe we can go check out to learn more about the Engage campaign?
Well, funny you asked that. Tomorrow night, we're going to have our Engage Daiquiri night, our spring send-off. There will be no alcohol included. It's still staying
dry
on
campus.
Our dry campus. But what we want to do is we want to, get everybody excited about spring break before they head off to Florida or Gulf Shores and so forth. So what we're going to be doing is at 6:30 at the bottom of Hume's basement. We're going to be there for about 30 to 40 minutes talking with students, serving them daiquiris and drinks that they might, enjoy at spring break with something else or just to enjoy. And but yeah, we're just gonna, get to know them and be on a more personal level. So.
Pancakes, daiquiris,
campaigns
are where you get your fix here at UT for students. Okay, Christian, final question. I always just love to end with this note. If I were a student who didn't know anything about SGA on campus and I just kind of wandered up to you and I said, tell me why I should vote for you. Tell me why Engage should be the next leaders of SGA here at UT.
Definitely.
What would you tell me?
That's a tough question. One of the biggest things I think is, we've seen the frustrations of students. I've been on both ends, my freshman and sophomore year, so I understand the frustrations of communication. But I've been on the opposite end of the spectrum where I've worked hard in SGA and I've seen Laura work hard and Grant work hard, and so we understand the frustrations, and we also understand what it takes to run this machine, if you might say. But being the most, or I would say, being very experienced in this position, I think students will see.
Yeah, so tough question, but pretty good answer, I have to say. So, Christian, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us at TVC and for collaborating with us on everything SGA related.
Thank you
so much for being here.
Thank you.
To find out more about the Engage campaign, you can check out their website, engageut.com. And don't forget to vote on April 3rd. But that's all we have for you here at TVC News today. Have a safe and fun spring break, UT. We'll check you out after the break with our live SGA debate. Have a great weekend.